Celebrated Valentine's Day yesterday, February 14th. A group of people in Lagos Island were seen in a viral video queuing for bread. The narrator in the video could be heard saying that the price of bread at the location was 100 naira. The group turned rowdy as men at the location were seen flogging those who attempted to jump the queue.
Now this morning, early morning, Valentine's Day, and they flog person to collect bread. In front of my shop for Lagos Island. Hey, Nigeria, sorry for you. Because of 100 naira bread. Hey, Nigeria. Hey! Now wow, because of 100 naira bread. Hey, see Nigerians, God day. My bread does they shine like this for inside Lagos Island. Abibi Oke Street. 100 naira bread. Yeah? Trio Street for Lagos Island.
This is such a sad video to see. I mean, I thought it was important to highlight it. I mean, that man there was saying this is Cryo Street. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, but it's in Lagos Island, and it is there. The video is out there for the Lagos state government to take a look at. I mean, who are those men that were flogging? I mean, why would you do that to people? I know they are out there. They want to buy bread for 100. How much is bread? Now, I've not bought. I don't eat bread, so I don't really know about 100. Yeah. So what is the big deal? I don't understand why they have to be flogged. But I reached out to the Lagos state government, and I hope that they respond to this particular video. Meanwhile, the state, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Wednesday splashed 750 million naira on 15,000 Lagos traders as part of the Lagos Market Trader Money. The governor launched the Lagos Market Trader Money initiative in Ikeja, with beneficiaries singing his praise. The governor acknowledged the current economic hardship in the country, saying the activation of such financial support will go a long way to improve the lives of the citizens and traders who occupy a strategic position in the state's food distribution network. Well, in the meantime, Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has said that the removal of fuel subsidy is for the future of Nigeria. Senator Tinubu made the comment during a two-day visit to Kano to commission a multi-purpose hall named after her at the Miriam Abacha American University. The First Lady arrived in Kano State on a presidential jet, along with her entourage, on Monday, February 12th. She was received by the state's governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf, members of his cabinet, and thousands of NNPP loyalists. Hundreds of people, including school children, lined up the streets to also welcome the First Lady to Kano.
It's just like a woman in labor who is about to birth. These are hard, but when I saw all those children lined up the street, I see that removal of fuel subsidy is for their future. We can come and do government as usual, business as usual, but I would tell you that certain things happen that would change the trajectory of your thinking. I want to work for you, and I believe that Mr. President has the same drive and zeal to want to turn this nation around. I want you all to bear with us. Kano, with the help of His Excellency, the Governor, I want to thank you, sir, and the First Lady. I was quite humbled by the reception Kano did to receive us. But, I want to tell you and assure you that whatever it takes, even if it is one day God gives us in that office, we will try to make sure that we do the best for this country.
All right, Dr. Abati, Senator Oluremi Tinubu there, First Lady of Nigeria, saying subsidy removal is for the future of those young people when she saw those young children and for the future of Nigeria. I'd like for you to unpack all of those stories. But I don't know if I read somewhere that IMF is saying that subsidy is back. Did I read that?
Yes. There was such a statement by IMF, but the same IMF had recommended that for Nigeria to move forward, the Nigerian government must remove fuel subsidy, must remove electricity subsidy, in addition to taking certain decisions, to strengthen the macroeconomic framework. But to deal with the specific stories that you have brought, one, Mrs. Remi Tinubu was in Kano to place side by side what she said about fuel subsidy being for the future of Nigerians. The average Nigerian listening to us, since she did not elaborate for that, we ask, how is removal of fuel subsidy for the future of Nigerian children and even for our present? You recall that this is what has caused the economic hardship in the country. This is what has caused labor going on strike, asking for palliatives. This is what has led to the hardship that is responsible for food protests across major capitals of the country, to such an extent that even here in Lagos, you find people fighting over 100 naira bread. And on top of it, the Minister of Power is now saying that, well, Nigeria cannot even sustain electricity subsidy. Now, if the Tinubu administration goes ahead to remove electricity subsidy and add that to the removal of fuel subsidy, the hardship is already well foretold. So I don't think the position she's holding there is something that many people would agree with. And in any case, she visited the Emir of Kano, His Royal Majesty Adobayero, in the course of that visit to Kano. And the major point that the Emir of Kano made is that, look, when you get back to Abuja, please help us tell the president he has to do something about insecurity, he has to do something about unemployment, he has to do something about inflation and food crisis. Obviously, the Emir of Kano does not agree that the removal of fuel subsidy is something that would help the future of those children lining the street. Second, about the bread thing. Yes, I agree with you absolutely that the Lagos State government should investigate what happened in that place in central Lagos. We've been citing examples of food protests where food crisis has also come to your town, to your city. The people of Lagos are queuing up, for bread of 100 naira. I don't know, how, what type of bread anybody is selling for 100 naira. I hear that it's subsidized, where I think bread is already over 1,000 naira. So part of the investigation by the Lagos State government should be to find out who is giving out that 100 naira worth of loaf of bread. What is the quality? Let it not be that there is a bakery somewhere that had issues with production and they have done poor quality things that they want to throw away. We then say, okay, this thing is not good for consumption. But if we say, we'll sell it for 100 naira, people will come. And look at the desperation of the people. They couldn't even queue up properly. In the commentary by the gentleman who was filming the scene, he was saying, oh, this is the front of his shop, and that, these people are fighting over 100 naira loaf of bread. And he said, this is the Yoruba line. And I look at Yoruba people in Lagos struggling to have a 100 naira loaf of bread. Then he said, there's also a Hausa line at the back, towards the back of this queue you are looking at. But he said there was no Igbo line there. And he said, look, Igbo people, no, they cannot join line to go and be struggling for 100 naira, loaf of bread. But that's the ethnic dimension to it. Yeah. But the one we deal with is, a graphic illustration of the hunger that is in the land. Now, to go to the governors. The Lagos State government yesterday launched what was called the Lagos Market Trader Money. Before now, the Lagos State government also set up food camps as part of the effort by state governments, to ameliorate the hardship that the people are facing. And as you have reported, it was a big event, 750 naira to 15,000 beneficiaries. 15 million beneficiaries.
750 million.
750 million, 15 million beneficiaries at the rate of 50,000 per person. And these 50,000 persons are to be taken from the 6 geopolitical zones. So even if you are a person from Lagos State living in the northeast or living in the northwest or the south-south, if you get onto the list, you can get 50,000. So on the surface of it, yes. But what is 15 million people out of the total population of Lagos? So it's still like a small drop. But at least it's an effort, consistent with statements by people that it's not just the federal government that should help the people. The state governments, the subnationals should also intervene. So in that regard, Lagos State is setting a good example. The only thing to say to Lagos State and also to Ogun State, which has also, voted money. I think in Ogun State is how much now? About 5 billion?
Let me take
about 5 billion naira. Okay, you have the story.
Let me take it for you. All right.
Okay, take the story. Yeah.
Well, The governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, has announced a series of initiatives worth about 5 billion naira to cushion economic hardship for the people of the state. Speaking at a press conference in Abeokuta, the state capital, on Wednesday, the governor said the fund would cover areas such as education, health, food palliatives, and civil servants provision. He also said a part of the fund will be committed to an education fund for 27,600 poor students from the state across different tertiary institutions nationwide, and that 300,000 households will benefit from the food palliatives, which would include the distribution of rice and other items.
Let me assure you that the present economic situation is just a transient phase that will soon pass. In this direction, and through our targeted interventions, we aim to address these challenges by implementing a series of phased-out initiatives aimed at reducing or cushioning these burdens on all our citizens. We have taken the following steps. In the education sector, we will be providing a one-time intervention in the first instance of 10,000 naira education support grant to a minimum of 100,000 indigent pupils in our public, primary, and secondary schools across the state.
A great initiative. Like you said, Dr. Abati, your state governor, he's doing well. 5 billion to go around. I mean, really, education is one of the bedrock of any society. I think it's a great initiative. I would like for you to land on your point so that Ayo can unpack all of the stories.
I'll be very brief.
Yeah.
And it's as follows. Yes, commendable. And what the Ogun State governor said is that this is a demonstration of the fact that the Ogun State government empathizes with the people, is sensitive to their plight, and is providing support. So in both Lagos State and Ogun State, I think they put their hands on a good thing. However, Ogun State is APC, Lagos State is APC. Now, the beneficiaries should not be limited to persons who are sympathetic to the APC, because this thing called hunger that is in the land does not know political affiliation. So government, either Lagos or Ogun or any other state government that follows the example should see that this is beyond partisanship.
Absolutely.
It is the people generally that should be assisted.
All right.
Just to break down, like you mentioned, it's going to touch a number of sectors in education, not just primary or basic education, which a lot of people focus on. It would also look at indigent students in tertiary institutions actually given an education grant. And this then reminds us of what's happening to the student loan conversation. I know there's a committee set up, and hopefully we'll have that outcome very shortly. Then also in terms of exercise books for younger people, health insurance for a number of vulnerable people. So I'm really glad at the fact that it's quite detailed. It's not just going to one side and just spread across in different ways. Even though, like we've mentioned, it seems like a drop in the ocean if you bear in mind the sufferings of the people, but it's a good initiative, and all subnational governors or leads should also take a toll. Now, let me come back to Lagos. 750 million naira, 15,000 traders, 50,000 naira each. So I did a quick calculation. 50,000 naira is about $36, with today's exchange rate. I think that when it comes to traders and business people, beyond giving these tokens, which would perhaps finish in less than a week, why not create an enabling environment? There are a number of enabling environments for their businesses to thrive. There are a number of complaints, especially when it comes to doing business in Lagos State or for traders. One is the multiple taxation and the ag bureaus who go and tax these people who are struggling to make ends meet in light of current economic realities. So instead of, it's very popular to give people 50,000 naira. In the immediate, you're very popular. But we understand what happened at national level with the Trader Money Project. Did it work? Can we evaluate that? What were some of the shortcomings in that regard? And what can we learn as a state? So I don't think it's enough to just hand out 15,000 traders in Lagos State. I don't know how, it's a drop. or even less than that. So whilst this is commendable, but we also must move away from just coming, dish out money that is about $36 and then go away and then we praise that as something really significant. So I'm urging this government and this administration. Lagos is the center of excellence, the commercial capital of the Federation. We should be thinking beyond handouts to business owners. How can we make businesses thrive better, especially small businesses in Lagos State? Yeah. And finally, to Senator Oluwemi's point, the only statement I'll make on that one is that, yes, this fuel subsidy removal, as she mentioned, is for the future of the children. May they live long enough to benefit from that, because if people are suffering and are hungry, then people will lose their lives, unfortunately. So may they get to a point where they're able to appreciate, and may the damage not be so far-reaching that we're not able to recover from the damage of this fuel subsidy removal. It goes again back to planning. Can we do something to alleviate? The palliatives they talked about, we haven't seen enough of it from the federal government. Absolutely. Can we go back to that?
There's more to the story.